Welcome back, everyone, to another reaction video. Well, it's been a while since we took a little bit of time to visit our friends over at Yarnhub, so I thought this would be a great time to do that. This video is called When a B-17 Tail Fell with a Gunner Inside. I had a can of Pepsi in the way. I couldn't see the title. So, this should be an interesting one. The link's down in the description. I also want to let you know that the folks over at Yarnhub actually have a new game out. And a couple of months ago, I actually talked to the guy who runs Yarnhub, and he was telling me all about this upcoming game that they had. They were pretty excited about it. So I'm going to also put a link down in the description so that you can check out that new game. It's called Brass Rain, and you can wish list it right now on Steam. Looks pretty cool. I think it should be really interesting, but let's go ahead and dive into this story.
It's November 29th, 1943, and in the tail of the B-17, Rikki-Tikki-Tavi sits tail gunner Jean Eugene Moran. There are over 300 planes in the air to target Bremen, a very heavily defended industrial city.
So Rikki-Tikki-Tavi, I believe that is, I don't know the exact details, but I believe that's a name from Rudyard Kipling's Jungle Book. It's really fascinating to me. I mean, you're talking about thousands of these planes, these bombers, B-17s and B-24s in Europe, and then other types in the Pacific. But the names and the origins of them are really fascinating to me.
With just 10 minutes to target, everyone nervously scans the skies when the inevitable call comes over the intercom.
Bandit, 12 o'clock high!
The German pilots know if they can come in straight and level from the front, they'll avoid being hit by the top turret gunner and the ball turret gunner from the planes they're targeting.
Yeah, so there's a misconception about B-17s that the ball turret gunner was the most dangerous position. It wasn't. Statistically speaking, the front, the positions in the nose of the plane were the most likely places where you would get killed. Now, the ball turret gunner's the least likely to survive in a plane that's shot down. But in terms of planes that returned, the guys up front were in the most dangerous position because that was the most vulnerable part of the ship, and that's very often where they came at you.
A staffel of Bf-110s comes straight onto the formation. They're carrying a new weapon, 21-centimeter Werfergranate mortar rockets. The 110s release a barrage that streaks towards the box formation of flying fortresses. In the pilot seat of Rikki-Tikki-Tavi, the 21-year-old pilot, First Lieutenant Linwood Langley, barely has time to register what's happening as a rocket streaks by the cockpit, barely missing him.
Wow, and these rockets aren't designed to explode on impact, right? You're not shooting at the plane. You're firing the same way that artillery was used. Shrapnel artillery. It was meant to explode in proximity and cause damage.
You see that?
Or kill.
Tail the crew. 1-4 is down.
First the rockets, then the guns. The Bf-110s are now in range, and they fire with all they have. As the 110s roar by, Navigator Second Lieutenant Jesse Orison is ready with the cheat gun. In a moment, the enemy have gone past.
Get him, Gene!
But at the back, Gene is ready and peppers the 110s as they fly straight on and then peel off in pairs. Squinting in the distance, he sees small dots. There's more.
Bandits, 5 o'clock high!
He shouts as roaring in from above and behind are more German planes than Gene has ever.
I can't imagine a more difficult position to be in than aboard one of these flying fortresses. You got a 10-man crew. You're basically flying in a tin can. There's no protection. They're not armored at all because the weight of armoring them to protect against like 20 millimeter, 50 caliber rounds, things like that, or these rockets. It didn't make sense because you needed every bit of fuel as it is to get where you needed to go. And these things could take a beating, but the human body can't. And you're up there, it's well below freezing. And so, you're wearing these electrically heated suits to keep you warm. You're having to wear oxygen once you get up to a certain height. And that's another danger because if those oxygen tanks get hit, they can explode. There's just so many things that can go wrong, and the casualties on some of these missions are just obscene.
BF-109s and the dreaded Butcherbird FW-190s. Then there's mayhem as the world becomes a mass of whirling planes and tracer fire.
Gee, there's too many.
Empty shell casings pool on the floor of the fort as all the gun positions send as much lead as they can towards the enemy.
And can we just take a minute and talk about how incredible the graphics are on these videos now? I don't want to give anything away that's not public knowledge, but he was telling me, the guy who you hear narrating, we had a long conversation, and he was telling me how much it costs them to produce one of these videos. It's ridiculous, but you can see the quality of the production.
Drop level.
Big team
Intercom
of people
is
they have.
awash with the gunners calling out the positions.
12 o'clock high. I got one. I think they're peeling off. Watch out for flak.
Then, a dirty cotton wool puff is seen exploding ahead.
Flak. 11 o'clock low.
The sky is covered in 88mm flak.
And the same thing, you're dealing with proximity. You know, these things are going up, they're massive shells, and then they're exploding and just shooting lead everywhere. At least you get rid of the fighters that are attacking you just in time for the flak.
Some of the German planes peel off, but others don't seem to care about the flak and just press on their attack.
And that's the problem. You have to. I mean, this is the fortitude you have to have in this situation, right? I mean, you have to be able to keep going straight. You can't drop out of formation. You know, you just become a sitting duck at that point. You've got to stay in formation. You've got to stay together. You've got to stay focused. Hard stuff.
The B-17s are buffeted about as the flak explodes all around them. The American planes are hit and go down. Moran can see them fall out of formation and drift behind and below.
Pilot to Bombardier. Curtis, you ready to drop them? Yes, sir. Bombay doors coming open.
The bomb bay doors are open. They wait nervously for the lead plane to drop their ordnance.
Just drop the damn bombs, will you?
Yeah, this is all, you know, if you've seen Masters of the Air, you understand a little bit about how all this works. You have the lead ship who's responsible for kind of setting the tone. Okay, when I drop my bombs, that's when everybody else does. And you've got each squadron's got a lead navigator, and, you know, and a command pilot, and all these sorts of things. And you know, there's a command structure all the way down. There you go.
It's away, and Bombardier Donald Curtis releases the bombs.
And now, when they would drop these bombs, the ship would shoot up. Because of all that weight that they just lost, it would suddenly get a lot lighter.
Away.
The plane is instantly lighter and lifts as the bombs go down. The bomb bay doors grind closed, and Langley turns and heads for home.
And there's got to be a sense of relief once you hit the target, right? Because now it's like, okay, at least we're on our way home. At some point, we're going to be safe.
The flak slowly and mercifully peters out.
And that's because they're coming
Standard
back.
report. Navigator, okay. Full turret, okay. Only some holes in the wings and fuselage. Looks like we're fine, Lieutenant.
The captain's amazed. Fortresses are tough.
The pressure looks good.
The 4 engines are seemingly unaffected and running well. And relief washes over the crew.
We're gonna make it.
Before the echo of those words dies in the ears of the men, another cry goes up.
Yep.
Bandits, they're back.
A swarm of enemy fighters is spotted coming in from above.
Get to the gun.
All the men stare at the vast numbers of planes coming at them. The Germans are back to enact their revenge for Bremen.
Show 'em, boys.
The thud of the guns and the crash of shells fills the ears of every man on board as the
Comment,
entire
like, and
box
subscribe.
formation lights up the sky.
2 o'clock. 6 o'clock.
The formation is rocked from every angle. Fortresses go down in the melee, but the crew of Rikki Tikki Tavi are too occupied to register. Gene takes aim at an FW-190 that zips past.
You're
And
not
then
leading it.
A BF-109. He can't be sure if he's hit any of them, but he picks another target and battles on.
2 o'clock.
Yeah, you hear how he said you can't be sure if he hit any of them. It was so hard. I mean, you're talking about when you're talking about hundreds of miles per hour and you're heading in opposite directions, I mean, just multiply that speed, and you're talking about how zoom, 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 how fast they're going by. And you've got multiple gunners and multiple B-17s firing, so you never really know, did I shoot it? Did I shoot it down? Did somebody else do it? And so the numbers are always just so hard to come by as far as accuracy.
Watch out.
The B-17 shakes under the impact of another volley and slowly starts to drift back from the formation.
Oh, that's not
Gene
good.
notices the gap with the main group getting wider and wider.
What's going on?
You don't want that.
Quickly, he looks over his left and right shoulder. There's no smoke from the engines. A B-17 in formation is vulnerable to the overwhelming number and speed of fighters like these.
The strength is in the numbers. It's in staying in your tight formations. It's maximizing the amount of firepower you have, and it's usually the ships that are on the end or in certain positions in the formation that are the most vulnerable because they're at the edges of those packed defensive formations.
But on its own, it's a death sentence.
Yeah.
Slowly, the other gunners get on the intercom.
We're slipping back. What's going on? Langley,
There's no word from the
Oh
captain.
no, they've been hit.
Gene shouts into the mic,
what's the matter? We're not staying up in formation.
all the while the gap growing bigger. Then, over the radio, comes the message.
We're being pushed out.
Whether that was the captain or the co-pilot, no one could tell. But soon, the B-17 was completely left behind. The Germans spot the vulnerability of the plucky Rikki Tikki Tavi and get
You're
busy
done.
with their deadly work. The sound of gunfire is interspersed with the screams of men being hit. The plane flies on straight and level, but no word is heard from the captain or the co-pilot.
Ugh.
In many interviews, Gene was too emotional to give details of what happened next. However, in the excellent book Tailspin, written by a close friend of Gene's, it states that from the bottom of the bomber, ball turret gunner Wilbert Pee Wee Provost, Gene's best friend, screamed,
Oh, there's a son of a bitch. He's coming up at us. He's coming right up our ass. Buddy, I'm done.
Gene shouted for his friend, and he could hear shots breaking the plexiglass dome. There's a scream over the intercom, and a twin-engine Messerschmitt fighter flies up and passes the rear of the bomber, right in front of Gene's guns. Gene's 50 cals ring out at the German fighter and find their mark. Smoke trails from the stricken machine, and it falls out of view. No more is ever heard from the ball turret gunner. At that moment,
And this story played out thousands and thousands and thousands of times. Guys being hit on your crew that you flew multiple missions with, and planes not coming back. Brutal.
a Bf-109 pulls up alongside. Gene tries to swing his guns to the right to take him out, but the German knows the B-17's arc of fire and stays just outside of the danger zone.
Yep.
Gene locks eyes with the pilot. Then the German gestures. He points at Gene, then points at the ground. Gene just stares back. The German repeats the gesture,
He's telling them
and
to
then
bail out.
it strikes Gene that he is being given a chance.
Bail
a chance
out.
to bail. Was he the only
Yeah,
one?
a lot of these Germans, they viewed, it's much like the story of Franz Stigler and Charlie Brown, the B-17 Ye Old Pub. We've done that story. A lot of these pilots viewed shooting down, a defenseless plane as akin to killing a wounded man or shooting a guy with a parachute. They weren't going to do it. And so, the victory is in bringing down the plane, not in how many men you kill.
Left. Had the remaining crew died or bailed already? He can see the other German planes waiting in the distance. It's literally a life or death decision.
Yeah.
Gene would never get to make that decision. The temporary truce is shattered by the crack of gunfire. Someone on Rikki Tikki Tavi is still alive and is shooting at the German. Whatever choice Gene had has now disappeared.
Yep.
In a
Now
moment,
you're done now.
the Bf-109 turns and is gone. With that, the German planes move in en masse to deliver the killing blow.
Jeez.
The tail section becomes a hailstorm of metal shards and shrapnel. Gene is thrown to the floor. He struggles back to his position and tries to fire. but it's no use.
Now, with the exception of the ball turret gunner, most of these other guys would have been wearing their parachutes, so that in the event that you get blown out of the aircraft or something, you've already got your parachute on you. Ball turret gunner couldn't do that because of the tight fit. You just couldn't wear one.
His guns are jammed. He seems to be on autopilot, and despite his injuries, he gets to work on the gun. Hope fills him as he manages to get one gun to fire, just as more bullets slam into the plane and into Gene.
Just a
He
matter of
lets out
time.
a cry of pain and anguish as both his arms are hit.
Oh.
But despite 2 broken arms, he manages to fire off a few more rounds
Wow.
before being hit in the chest, breaking several ribs.
Oh my gosh. How's he
The
alive?
tailgun position is now a scene of total devastation.
How's he able to crawl with broken
The
arms?
plane lurches and goes forward in its death throes. Gene feels himself being pushed into his seat as the plane starts to hurtle downward.
You start dealing with, if it starts spinning or if it takes a deep dive, you're going to be stuck up against the side. If you've ever been on one of those games or rides at an amusement park where it spins,
His parachute is shot up, but
Oh,
there's a
no.
spare near the tail wheel. He can see some of the crew, but they're laying motionless. There's a gut-wrenching groan as metal tears.
jeez.
He can feel the floor beneath him move, almost like he's being pulled backwards.
Ugh.
He grabs hold of anything he can, and he watches the sky appear, and then the main fuselage drop away from the tail. He desperately grabs the floor of the tail section and pulls with all his might. Screaming with pain into his mask, he watches with horror as he sees the Rikki-Tikki-Tavi sink below him, while he remains in the tail section. In the nose section, though, navigator Jesse Orison and the bombardier Donald Curtis fire their guns at the seemingly countless planes buzzing them. There's just too many, and they're too fast. Bullets strike the plexiglass, hitting Curtis and pushing him back into Orison. The plane is nose down. Orison wrestles with Curtis's limp form and manages to get a parachute on him before
The courage of these guys in that situation, when everything within you would be saying, bail out, save yourself, to think of the other guy first, it's incredible to me.
entire plexiglass nose shatters, and Orison is thrown from the plane. Jagged glass rips into his legs. He falls and pulls the ripcord, screaming with pain. It's then he sees the tail section of the Rikki-Tikki-Tavi. He remembered seeing the rudder and elevators fluttering as it whirled around and fell. Little did he know,
Interesting the details that stick in your mind in a situation like that.
friend was still inside. There were at least 3 eyewitnesses who watched the tail fall. Some more fanciful accounts even reported that Gene kept firing as he fell. But according to Gene, that did not happen. Inside the tail, the force of the spin is tortuous. The speed of the spin and air pressure pins him into place, unable to move, and a red mist covers his vision as
Again, what a phenomenal job by Yarnhub in showing this story. It's amazing technology that we have.
blood seeps into his eyes. The fall seems to take forever. The tail falls and falls. And eventually slams into trees with a violence that a living man should not feel.
He was still in it.
But Gene did. Through his damaged eyesight, Gene sees a light at the end of a tunnel. He crawls towards the light. He feels pain from his broken arms and can feel his fillings loose in his mouth.
Oh, I bet.
Still, he crawls towards the light. And then he falls. Miraculously, he finds himself on a forest floor. The tail section of the Rikki-Tikki-Tavi is hanging above him in the trees. He lies there for a moment, elated. He's survived, but not without injury. He reaches up to his head carefully with his broken arms. There's a crack in his skull, so big, He can feel the softness in between the gap.
Oh my goodness.
Shortly,
He's
he
alive.
can hear voices, half expecting to be killed by locals who occasionally enact revenge upon the falling bomber crews.
Yeah, I mean, when you live through bombing like that, sometimes people take things into their own hands, and it did often happen. But a lot of these, I mean, tens of thousands of these bomber crews did end up in the Stalag Luft camps.
He was heartened to hear the voices speaking French.
Oh, he's in France or Belgium.
Expecting to find a dead man, French workers from a nearby camp and several German soldiers find Jean. He's dragged through the forest roughly and is transported to a camp where a Serbian doctor operates on Jean, putting a metal plate in his head to cover his exposed brain. Jean's injuries were not only physical, though. While recovering in the POW hospital, he experiences frequent nightmares, falling, screaming.
Could you imagine?
Eventually, Jean made a recovery from his injuries, and after the war, he was released and repatriated along with his lifelong friend and only other survivor, Jesse Orison.
Wow, only 2 of the 10 guys from that crew survived.
In 2022, 8 years after Jean's death, his friend, John Armbruster, released Tailspin, telling Jean's story. It's an excellent book that we very much recommend.
So here's the 8 guys who didn't survive. Look at the ages. Look at how young these guys are in this crew. I mean, the oldest one is the co-pilot, 27. The pilot's 21, 25, 23, 21. I mean, these are to me, I mean, I'm 48. These are kids. They are kids. My daughter's 20. My son's 18. Oh my goodness. The things that we asked of this generation just will never cease to amaze me. Wow.
Did you hear about the Baltar gunner who fell without a parachute and survived?
What a story. He's got the screen on the screen right there about Brass Rain. I'll put the link down in the description so you can check out their game, and you can kind of see some previews of it, wish list it if you want. But let me know your thoughts about that story. Thanks for watching.